Hi guys, how are you doing today? My name is Harshdeep Swami, and guys, this video is very special because we are going to interview Mark Baer. He is 59 years old and lives in Phoenix, Arizona. And guys, you are going to be inspired when you will listen to his success story with whole food plant based lifestyle. We are going to take this interview and I am going to quickly add Mark, and we are going to ask some questions that how is he able to have a lot of success with whole food plant based lifestyle. All right. Hello. Hi Mark, how are you doing today?
Good, good. Now, are we live?
Yes, we are live and we are able to join this call. So
Okay,
I don't know why it did not work before.
that's very strange. Yeah, I'm not sure why. No
Yeah,
idea.
give me one. Okay. So we can start the interview now. All right.
Okay.
Let's do this interview. Guys, we have Mark Baer with us on this live call. Right? He's 59 years old and lives in Phoenix, Arizona. And he has achieved a lot of success with whole food plant-based lifestyle. He has lost 29 kgs of weight and he has got completely off 4 or 5 medications, including insulin. Guys, this is amazing. And we are going to ask Mark that how was he able to get a lot of success with whole food plant-based lifestyle. So guys, so Mark, could you please tell us how did you start a plant-based lifestyle?
So, what I'd like to say really initially is why I wanted to go this direction with my lifestyle change. Basically, what happened was when my mother was 57 years old, which is 2 years younger than I am now, she had a couple of strokes, which were really debilitating for her. What we found out after she had the strokes was that she had been diagnosed with diabetes 10 years before, but she never told anybody, and she didn't even tell my dad. So she had uncontrolled diabetes for 10 years, and then she had strokes, which caused her to have a lot of problems walking, talking, just a lot of physical issues that were really terrible. And so she lived for another 20 years, but they weren't very good years. The quality of life was poor. And unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago, but she lived much longer than we thought she would, only because of the medication she was on and the fact that my dad had retired to take care of her for 20 years, but was not a good life. So my choice was I am not going to have this happen. And as my age got closer to her age when she had the strokes, I thought, there's got to be a better way than what I'm doing and taking all these medications. And all the doctors want to do is keep adding medication and more and more and more. So Marva and I saw Forks Over Knives, What the Health on Netflix, and we'd been moving this direction maybe a little bit anyway, but then we decided we're doing it. So on almost 2 years ago, on the 5th of July, we switched completely over, stopped eating all animal products at that time, almost 2 years ago. So almost immediately, literally within 2 weeks, the doctor took me off cholesterol medication. I mean, right away. My
Wow.
cholesterol dropped down immediately. And I had been on that medication for 15 years, but he took me off of it. So then through the course of time, um, it we just decided to keep going, you know. And what happened was I kept losing weight. Marva kept losing weight. My medications kept going down, and finally, I switched doctors to a plant-based doctor actually, and she's helped me now to just eliminate them completely. So that's why we did it, is because I didn't want to end up like my mother. I didn't want to end up struggling through these coming years like that. So now I just had a blood test. Everything is really good. All my kidney function, liver function, cardiovascular, blood sugar, everything is fine. So that's what it does. Changing your lifestyle positively makes a big difference. So I'm living proof of it.
Yes. Thank you so much. This is very inspiring. This is very inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Could you please tell us more about your diet? Like, what do you eat in a day, and like how much difficult it was for you, to switch diet, and what
Okay,
is it that
so
you are eating?
yeah, so for us, switching wasn't super difficult because we already liked to cook and prepare meals, both of us. So for us, that was easy. It was just basically figuring out how to cook meals that we would like. And so that's what we did. But we basically cooked the meals that we liked already. We just didn't add the animal products in. That's how we did it to start with. We would eat the same things we like to eat, like spaghetti or something, but instead of putting meat in the sauce, we would put mushrooms, things like this. So we did it that way to start with. At the time, 2 years ago, we were still using oil because we didn't really understand that we needed to get rid of that. So, but we finally got rid of it when we finally realized that we don't need that anymore. And so that we got rid of it, and we never have needed it since. So, so that's, for us, it wasn't difficult, but it was more about adjusting everything to work for this kind of diet. And so that's how we did it. But today, basically, we eat twice a day. We eat at 10 in the morning and about 5:30 in the evening. So we try to intermittently fast for about 16 hours each day. So we don't eat anything at all for 16 hours each day, which I think has a big impact on weight loss, but or weight maintenance. But I basically eat a very large salad every day: spinach, kale, vegetables, cucumbers, tomatoes, generally always in there, beets sometimes, whatever I have, carrots. I'll put on cabbage, things like this. And then I'll either put beans or lentils on the top, cold. And then I'll dress the salad generally with just vinegar, and that's all I use. So now that I do fermented vegetables, I put on some hot sauce that I make. So, and that's good too. And then I have a bowl of fruit. So generally blueberries, cherries, apples, whatever, mixed together with flaxseed, chia seeds, and then some of the yogurt that we make, mix it together. And then that's what I have every day for breakfast. I almost never have anything different than that. The vegetables will change depending on what's available and everything else, but I eat that every day at 10. And then for dinner, we cook just almost anything you can think of. We actually, obviously we cook a lot of the curries that you make because we've tried almost every one of them. They're all great, and we've tried a number of them more than once. So all good. We like Indian food, so it's been perfect, and we like the way the recipes come together. They're simple and easy to do, and they're really
Yes.
good. So yeah. So, but we do anything. Tonight we're going to have a big salad, a taco salad we call it, but we put beans or lentils on that, and then hot sauce and things like that, and a big salad with a dressing that we make out of hummus and yogurt, and spice it up. So the other thing about cooking like this that is interesting to us, and something we've had to adjust to, is that you have to add spice. Everybody is afraid of spice, and they think that this food cannot be good or doesn't taste good or it's bland. And that's not the case at all. But you have to add spice, and you have to add a lot of spice. And so even in your recipe, sometimes I will almost double the spice to get it, I mean, double it to get it more spicy, because we like spicy food. So for others, that may not work for you, but you'll find the right amount of spice if you just work at it. So that's how we do it. It's really not it's not difficult. You just get into this habit of how to make your meals work for you. But we no animal products ever. We do not eat any animal products. Period. It just will
Right.
not happen. So yeah.
Yes, this is really nice. And you also do not add any salt in your food. So is it difficult, to get rid of salt? Because it is difficult for me. I still use a little bit of salt.
Yeah, but
So
yeah, we know. Yeah, we see it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that you need salt. Your body needs salt. I mean, it's a mineral that you need. So um, the theory is that you get enough salt out of the plants that you eat. Um, and I think that's probably true. We still, since I do these fermented vegetables now and like sauerkrauts and things like that, you use salt in that process. So there's a salty taste to all of that. And so we were getting a little salt that way. Um, but we have not seen any issues with, like, we don't have enough salt in our system or anything like that by eating plant-based. But salt in and of itself is a good flavoring. It allows the flavor to be enhanced in your food, and the amount that you use in your dishes is so small, it's irrelevant really in terms of health benefit. I don't see any reason why that should be an issue at all. So, but we don't put any in to anything other than what I put into the fermentation jars. Other than that, that's all I put in. So.
right, and you did a great job with the fermentation. So we will we will definitely like to learn the fermentation of those vegetables from you. And so, is there any other challenges that you face? Like, there are people who, whenever they get stressed, for example, if I am getting stressed, if something stressful, a stressful event happens, then I crave for unhealthy food, right? I crave
Yes.
for sugar or something like that. So how do you manage that? How, if some challenge come, you face, or some stressful situation happens, how do you deal with it?
Well, that's a good question. So I think the first thing, the diet's one thing, but the other thing that helps with stress is exercise. Some of the challenges that you've had requires people to do exercise each day. Excuse me. I think that has a big impact on stress because we all have stress. We all suffer from stress in our life. It's just part of the thing. Just normal things cause stress. So um, I am not somebody who worries about things too much. I never really have. I always feel like things kind of take care of themselves. And so I never have stressed out about things like that. Yeah, have I had stress in my life? Yes. Yes, I do. But I think the exercise has a lot to do with being able to cope with it. And it's a stress relief. It allows you to kind of get rid of the stress if you have it in your life. So that's how I deal with it mainly. The other thing is I don't try to. They say don't sweat the little things, and that's somewhat true. If don't worry about things so much. Focus on what's important to you, and then just work at that. And you should be able to, if you can achieve those goals that you've set, and you're working towards those, and then also block out negative things in your life. I notice on some of your responses now, you're blocking some people out. You're chopping some people off from bad comments. You know what? Nobody needs those kind of things in their life. None of us do. And the fact that you're trying to help people and inspire people is admirable. It's also, in my opinion, it's something that's really, necessary in life today, is to have people to help you through things, because that's just, you need help. Everybody needs help. So, but I don't listen to negative things. I don't respond to negative things, to negative comments to people. I don't bother with it. And if people are negative to me, I just really don't pay any attention to them. I mean, directly, I just won't listen to it. So anyway, that's how I deal with it. But I think the exercise for me is really the key. I mean, I think that is one of the things that makes stress easier to deal with, and also to get rid of it. So that's how I deal with it. So
These are very, very good points which you have shared, and I agree with all all of the points which you have shared. Very nice. So we move to our next question. Do you think, many people tell me that once they remove oil from the food, and the food is not delicious. Do you believe this thing that food is not delicious in whole food plant-based lifestyle?
no, no, I don't, because like I said, you have to use spice. But there's things that you use in replacement of oil. So the main reason, and you've talked about this, there is absolutely zero nutritional value in any oil. It doesn't matter what it is: olive oil, palm oil, any kind of nut oils, anything. There is absolutely zero nutritional value in those. And the reason for that is they strip all of that out when they make the oil. So there's no fiber, there's really no nutrients in it at all. So what it is it's very fat. It's high in fat. So it's basically 100% fat, which our brains like fat. We've been conditioned to like fat by our diets that are not whole food plant based. So that's why it's one of the most difficult things for people to get rid of. But water, saute like you do. You can make your own vegetable stock, buy vegetable stock if you want, or low sodium. Use that as flavoring. Vinegars are good. There's all kinds of ways to make things taste better and to get that flavor that you're looking for. The other thing that people, when they're doing this lifestyle change, and I didn't believe this, I thought this was complete garbage, was that, and I was reading the books and listening to people on videos saying that, about 30 days, maybe a little longer, your taste buds will change and you will start craving vegetables and fruit instead of meat, cheese, dairy, all these things. And I thought, that's probably not true. I don't know how's that even possible? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. Is that about 30 days, it was like, wow, I will never do that again. I don't even want that. This is what I want. And boy, it tastes so good. And all the books you read and the videos, they say, you don't really know what a vegetable tastes like until about 30 days after you switch over. And then all of a sudden you eat it and you're like, wow, I really like this and I want more of this. And that's exactly what happens. So people that ask me, or that want to ask me, I'll tell them, don't give up for at least for 30 days, maybe a little longer, and your body will change, your taste buds will change. So the oil, the same thing. Just quit using it and use water, use vegetable stock, use vinegar, use other things to saute your food in or flavor your food with, and your taste buds will adjust to that. So, but getting rid of the oil is important, because I think from a weight loss standpoint, I really think that our weight loss, Marva and I, we really were able to lose more weight and maintain the weight loss easier without oil. It was a big game changer for us. And but anybody that tells you that oil is good for you doesn't know what they're talking about. They just don't. So
Right. Yes, you are absolutely right about it. The same thing it has happened to me, right? Now I love fruits and vegetables more,
right.
and taste buds did change after a few days. Uh, so the next question is, the support system which we get. There are people who do not get support in the family, right? Let's say I am eating, whole food plant-based lifestyle, but the rest of the family members are not eating uh, the whole food plant-based way.
Right.
So what people can do about it?
Well, you know what? I think that's probably one of the more difficult things in life, and that causes a lot of stress too. You can see it on some of the posts that people do. They're stressed out about it, and
Right.
I think so. I'm very fortunate. So Marva and I did this together, and we're both very committed to it. And so I don't have a spouse or a family member that lives in my house that's not whole food plant based. So I have that advantage that other people don't have. But the rest of my family is not whole food plant based. They're not, and they're watching us very closely to see, how we're doing and everything else, and they're always amazed, but they haven't switched. So, but that's their choice. We're the example. They can follow us or don't follow us, but I wish they would, but they don't. So I guess my philosophy on all of this is pretty straightforward. You're responsible for yourself first, okay, and you need to make sure that you take care of yourself first. That's important. The other things that I always maintain, and one of my philosophies is if something's very important to you, you'll focus on it and you'll do it, okay? You'll focus on it. So good example is if you have kids, if you have children, okay? As a parent, you have to focus on your kids, okay? Because it's important to you. If you don't, you're not a good parent. But everybody that's a parent generally is going to focus a lot on their kids, and they'll even do that to their own detriment. They'll do it where they're not taking care of themselves. They'll focus on their kids exclusively. Well, for a long time with kids, that's kind of important because they're small and they can't take care of themselves. But at a point, you can look at yourself and change some things with yourself, and your kids will still be fine. So, but what's important to you? With your kids are important, you'll focus on your children and your kids. But as you get older, especially, oops, just lost my stand there. But as you get older, you realize that you have to take care of yourself, or you're not going to live very long. And if you do, you're not going to live very healthfully. So you end up having to make that change. So these people that have the spouses and everything else, are not going to make it sound like it's easy, because I know it's not. It's hard for them that don't follow this lifestyle. You just need to focus on yourself and realize that, if you want to be around a long time and you want to see your grandchildren and everything else grow up, then and not be a burden on people. The other thing is, don't be a burden on people. Take care of yourself. Then you will do it, and you'll be successful at it. But it won't be easy. That's not easy. But most things in life that are worth something to you are not easy. That's why they call it work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, this is completely true. And so, what do you do to motivate yourself, inspire yourself every single day? Because I believe in creating habits, right? I believe in having good habits, like go for a walk every single day, or like you eat a salad every morning, right? So how do you get the motivation or inspiration, or what people can do to inspire themselves daily? How they can do this thing?
Well, my inspiration every day is not being on medication. That was been my driving force, so I was focused on that exclusively. Now, exercise, diet, positive attitude, all these things really, for me, made the difference there. But I had to focus on it. It wasn't something that that just came, that just went away because I wanted it to go away. I had to do it. I had to work at it. So my motivation to this day is that. Also, my motivation is not to end up like my mom, who struggled those last 20 years of her life, and it was not fun for her, and it was not fun to watch. So those are my motivations. I would say most everybody has issues or problems that cause them to do things maybe improperly or not the way that would be the most healthful way. People smoke for reasons that aren't good. They're basically masking issues. Really, what it is. Alcohol does that. Smoking does that. Overeating does that. Eating the wrong foods does that. And what I would say, this is just my thought, is that if something in your life is negative that really you're upset about or negative about, and I'll use being overweight. A lot of people are overweight. Basically half the world is overweight or close to it. That is a focus. You were overweight. You focused on that. You said, how can I overcome this? Okay, now you have a motivation. Now you don't just say, how am I going to do it? You said, I am going to do it. Now you just have to find the method. So once you found the method, whole food plant-based, the weight came off. But at first thing you had to do was decide that I'm not going to be like this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And I think all of us get to a point. I did, you did. We all get to a point and we say, I'm done with this. I have to change my behavior. I have to change the way I live in order to have a better life, a more healthy life, and to live a more fulfilling life. That's really what it is. So I think anybody that's watching this, or anybody that, if they focus on the negative and they say, I can never lose the weight, I can never do it, well, then maybe you can't. But it's not because you can't, it's because you've chosen not to do that. So you have to make a choice. You have to choose that I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to be better I'm going to be better tomorrow than I was yesterday. Doesn't happen overnight. You read about these weight loss people that lose weight very quickly. Well, they have a lot of weight to lose. Normally that's the case. But our weight loss was gradual. It took a couple of years. And we did it every day. And you get up every day and you go for your walk. I think I mentioned this in some of the posts I did on the group that, I didn't start off out walking 6 miles a day. I didn't do that. I started off walking around the neighborhood a little bit, and I kept adding to it and adding to it. And I added to it over months of time, not days, months. And as I developed the habit of it, then I started hiking on a mountain that's close by here. Then I started mountain biking. That was only about a year ago that I started doing that. About a year ago, I started lifting weights again. So it wasn't just overnight. I did all these things. It was gradual. Do what I could. Go for a walk. Come back. Drink a smoothie, eat a salad, whatever, at the time too, I was eating oatmeal and fruit for breakfast. I don't really eat the oatmeal so much anymore. Not that it's bad for you. It's just, I just don't do it. But I've changed that up a little bit, but really that's really just creating the habit is getting up and doing it. So like when I watch you for your walk, you do the videos almost every day when you're walking. You develop now a habit. So when you get out of bed in the morning, you go, I can either have a cup of coffee and do this or do that or watch TV or whatever, or I can go out and do some physical activity that actually creates, the right things, chemistry that happen in your brain to cause you to do all the other things positively. So, I think the exercise really matters. I know it does. So, but that's how I do it. That's how I motivate myself. I just get up and I don't want to have a problem anymore, so I go do it. And so far, paid off very well. So.
All right. Yes, you have got a, a very good, you have been successful with weight loss and getting your health back, and you have inspired a lot of people. And your story is going to inspire a lot of people. Let's quickly move on to our next question. And our last question of this interview: what message do you want to give to the people who do not believe in whole food plant-based lifestyle? Because there are people, who still think that, whole food plant-based lifestyle is not going to help, right? They still think that, they need to eat meat, non-vegetarian food to get their protein, or they need to, have dairy product to get calcium. So there are people who still do not believe whole food plant-based lifestyle. Your life has changed. My life has changed since I have followed whole food plant-based lifestyle. And I know that after trying, many diet plans, but when I tell my story, many people do not believe it. So what message do you what
Right.
message do you want to give to the people who do not believe, who do not have any, faith in this thing?
Well, um, people have to get to the point in their life where they want to see a change, I think. So I I personally cannot eat animal products. I just will not do it. And because the science has, there's all kinds of science both ways. Some of it I think is garbage science, but the fact of the matter is that you don't need animal products. It's just as simple as that. The biggest animals on the earth eat plants. They don't eat animals, they eat plants. How'd they get that big, How they get that strong? They didn't do that by eating animals, they did it by eating plants. So, gee, maybe we should eat more plants. Maybe we get stronger, and healthier. So, uh, I also don't preach or criticize people that eat meat. That's their business. In the US, it's a free country. You can do what you want, okay? All I know is when I was a kid, we didn't go to McDonald's very often. We went to McDonald's maybe once a month, and it was a treat, okay? Today, people go to McDonald's 1 or 2 times a day, or fast food places. Okay, that's how they've eaten. They've been conditioned to do this. They've been conditioned through the tastes and the brain function that likes that taste and asks for more of that. And they've also been conditioned by advertising, and they've also been conditioned by our own government to do those kind of things as well. So, but the proof of that is walking around you all day long when you go to a shopping mall, or you go to a restaurant, or you go to the grocery store, you go any place here in the States, and I travel all over the world. So I see it everywhere. And you see it in India, you see it everywhere. It didn't used to be this way. It is today. And people are very overweight. And that problem with being overweight, and in many cases obese, that is extremely unhealthy. And basically, all you're doing is setting yourself up for diabetes, heart disease, stroke, all of these things that go with those kind of situations and problems. And a lot of it is based on processed foods and meat and dairy and eggs and fish and all. I mean, so I eat none of it. We just refuse to eat it. We just will not do it. So we went out. If you go out for dinner, tell them you don't want cheese on this. No cheese. Okay, they don't put cheese on it. We don't want any meat in our. They put meat on pizza or something like that. We don't want any of that. We just want this. Okay, they do it for you. So, but look around. Just look around you, and it's prevalent, and it's scary. It's really scary. But all I can tell people is I feel the best I've felt in 40 years since I was in high school. I haven't felt this good, okay? I know that I will keep feeling good too. And I will get better and better and better. So, that's just the way it is. So, but yeah, I saw a note on here about meat stock. Is it bad to use meat stock? Well, yeah, actually it is. So you don't want to just get rid of the animal products. You don't need meat stock. Make your own vegetable stock, or buy vegetable stock, whatever you want, or use tomato sauce like you do. I mean, just do these things that make sense, and don't make it complicated. It's not really hard. People say, oh, I got to change my diet. It's going to be so difficult. And it seems overwhelming when really it's very simple. You just don't use animal products and eat. I was,
Right.
we're always surprised at how much food we eat. We eat so much food. It's actually, it'll blow your mind how big the salad I eat is, how much fruit that we eat, how much, it's crazy. And we don't gain any weight. We don't gain any weight. It's the craziest thing when you look at this and you go, how in the world could you eat this much? Marva's taken pictures and shown it to people and they go, that's crazy. How do you eat that much? You know, I mean, she eats a huge potato every day for breakfast along with all the other stuff. I eat this huge salad and all this fruit and we don't gain any weight. It makes no sense. So, I mean, literally, she's put it on the scale. It weighs like 2.5 pounds. So a kilo basically of food in the morning doesn't gain any weight. So that's how you do it. And so, but people have to come to the realization, and I think that society will do that eventually. I don't see how they can't do it because people are getting sicker. In the U.S. in particular, it's crazy. The lifespan of this generation that's coming up is going to live a shorter life than we do. And it's because of obesity. And it's because of diabetes and obesity. And it's growing so fast, it's just out of control. But it's completely controllable. It's 100% controllable. You know that, and I know that. And people don't believe you. And they don't believe me either. It's like, I've been with guys when I'm on business trips and they go, just can't, why did you do this? And it's like, well, I used to weigh 65 pounds more than I do now, and I was diabetic, and I was high blood pressure, and I was on cholesterol medication, and I felt crappy all the time, and now I don't. And they go, well, what are you going to eat for dinner? So I'll look at the menu and I'll say, I want this, this, and this. I'll take a baked potato without anything on it, or I'll do salad, or I'll do steamed broccoli, or I'll do whatever. If you're at a steakhouse, because I go to steakhouses with guys, because sometimes those are my customers or whatever, and I won't eat that stuff. They'll eat it, and I won't. But I really, they're always curious. But then they come back and say, oh, I could probably never do that. And I said, well, never say never. You can try and see how you feel. But generally speaking, I think too, is the weight loss causes, once you start losing the weight, you're like, whoa, this really does work. This is crazy. So I have to keep going. I can't stop until I get to my goal, because now I'm moving that direction. And I just need to get to that point. But the other thing too is, I mean, I'm pretty hardcore about this stuff. So, but a lot of people are going to run into situations where they're at a party, or they're at a barbecue, or they're at something, and they have some meat or something, and they feel bad about it, and they feel terrible, and they did that. Okay, you know what? Tomorrow's a new day. Forgive yourself. It's okay. Don't do it all every day, but don't do it first. But if you do, quit beating yourself up. Be kind to yourself first, and just forgive yourself, and you'll be fine. That one piece of meat is not going to kill you. Okay, if you do it every day for 20 years, it's going to have a major impact on your life. That's what chronic disease is. It's slow. It comes on slow, and it causes huge problems as it attacks your body. But don't kill yourself about it. Don't beat yourself up. Forgive yourself and move forward. And be an example to other people. That's what you should do. So that's just my philosophy. So anyway, but yeah, this meat broth thing, no, don't do that. That's a bad idea.
Yes, right. So thank you so much. This interview has got a lot of value. I agree with all the points which you have shared with us. And yes, it is completely true, because I have experienced all these things in the past 9 months, since I have gained a lot of health benefits. And thank you so much for this interview. Uh, your you are going to inspire a lot of people.
Well, I hope
And
so.
yes, you are inspiring a lot of people. And I agree with you that now it is a time that we should help more people, because these problems are getting bigger, the lifestyle challenges which people are facing. So we should do something about it. And thank you so much for your time, and have a very beautiful day. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.